So you've been told that eating animals is bad, that it's moral to go plant-based. But come on, let's get real. You're not a rabbit, and you're not a cow. And if you're feeling tired, foggy, anxious, bloated, or inflamed, it might be because you've been tricked into starving your body of what it actually needs to thrive. I'm not here to attack anyone, I get it. Plant-based eating has been marketed as healthier, cleaner, and more ethical. But the reality is human biology doesn't align with that narrative. Muscle growth, hormone regulation, cognitive function, and immune health all require nutrients that are either missing or poorly absorbed from plants. Things like creatine, carnosine, heme iron, B12, omega-3 DHA, and complete proteins. When we strip those from the diet in the name of being clean or kind, we often see the opposite of health: constant hunger, muscle loss, mood swings, hormonal imbalances, gut issues, and energy crashes. I had once tried pushing more plants into my diet while still eating some meat, and it backfired. It wasn't until I made a radical shift towards ancestral, animal-based eating that things finally clicked. When we remove the nutrients we need from our diet or try to replace them with synthetic versions and high-volume, low-density plant foods, the system breaks down. So no, this isn't about pushing carnivore agenda or telling you meat is the only answer. This is about understanding what human physiology is built for and the reality that plant-based often leaves people underfed, under-recovered, and overinflamed. This isn't about following a trend. It's about getting back to what our bodies were built for: nutrient-dense, bioavailable fuel that supports strength, clarity, and long-term health. The goal isn't to debate ethics. It's to expose the nutritional holes in veganism that no one's talking about, and to show what eating like a human really looks like. If you want to perform, recover, and feel your best, it starts with feeding your body what it's biologically wired to use. And that means real food, animal food. Not because it's trendy, because it works. Let's start by talking about ethics, because the idea that plant-based is automatically more ethical doesn't hold up. Most people have no clue how destructive large-scale crop farming really is. When fields are plowed and harvested, millions of animals die: mice, rabbits, birds, insects, crushed or poisoned just to grow soy, oats, and wheat. An Australian study found up to 25 times more animals are killed per kilogram of protein in crop-based diets compared to beef raised on pasture. Now let's look at regenerative animal farming, where animals graze naturally, rotate through pastures, and actually improve the land. They rebuild topsoil, restore ecosystems, and support biodiversity. It's not just ethical, it's ecological, and it works with nature, not against it. And no, I'm not talking about factory farming, that's garbage. I'm talking about grass-fed, wild-caught, local, regenerative. Farms where animals live well, contribute to the land, and nourish people. Your Beyond Burger didn't save the planet. It supported chemical farming, monocrops, fossil fuel processing, and plastic packaging. That's not sustainable, it's definitely not ethical. If you care about animals, the land, and your own health, eat food that honors all three. The modern vegan movement didn't start in nature. It didn't come from biology. It started with money, with ideology, and with people who confused morality with metabolism. Let's go back. The push for a plant-based diet in America wasn't based on science. It was rooted in religion. The Seventh-day Adventist Church, a religious group with strict anti-meat beliefs, heavily influenced early nutrition guidelines. They believed meat sparked immoral behavior and unclean thoughts. That's not a joke. That's literally where this started. They funded early formation of the American Dietetic Association, the same institution that's been shaping what dietitians are taught for decades. So our official nutrition advice was rooted not in physiology or performance, but in purity, culture, and plant-based ideology. Then came the food giants. Companies like Kellogg's, founded by devout Adventists, didn't just make cereal. They funded anti-meat propaganda. They pushed breakfast as the most important meal of the day, built around grains, not protein. Why? Because it was profitable. Grains are cheap to grow, cheap to process, and easy to sell, especially when you demonize the competition, meat. Fast forward to now, and it's the same playbook. You're told to eat plant-based for your health, your ethics, and the planet. But behind the scenes, it's not about your health. It's about profit margins. Most of the studies they wave around as proof that meat causes cancer or veganism lowers disease risks are epidemiological studies. That means they show correlation, not causation. They don't prove anything. They just track food questionnaires, which are notoriously inaccurate, and look for patterns. But when you actually look at controlled studies, when you follow athletes' performance metrics and blood work, the truth is obvious. Animal protein outperforms every time. And let's talk about marketing. The plant-based push isn't a lifestyle anymore. It's a product line. It's a business model. Every Beyond Burger sold is a win for food corporations. It's cheap to produce, highly processed, engineered in a lab, and wrapped in green-washed packaging to make you feel like you're saving the planet. It's not about nourishment. It's about manipulating your conscience to sell you junk with a moral halo. But at what cost? Your body is the battlefield. Low energy, poor recovery, constant hunger, mood swings, gut issues. People are getting sicker, weaker, and more confused, all while billion-dollar corporations and influencers cash in on the lie. So no, I'm not here to be polite about it. I'm here to pull back the curtain and give you the truth your biology has been screaming for. You were never meant to survive on processed soy, seed oils, and synthetic vitamins. You were built for strength, for clarity, for vitality. And it starts by eating the way humans have for thousands of years. Real food, real fuel, animal-based nutrition. So let's break this down from a human biology perspective, not from what's trending on Netflix. When someone cuts out animal products completely, they're not just removing meat, they're removing the most bioavailable sources of critical nutrients the body relies on to function at a high level. And that includes the brain, the muscles, the hormones, and the immune system. Now, I get it. People think they can just get everything from plants or take a few supplements, but real life and real performance say otherwise. Take B12, for example. This vitamin doesn't exist in plant foods. It's essential for energy production, nervous system function, and mood regulation. And without it, you're tired, foggy, and anxious. And that doesn't get fixed with a handful of spinach. Iron is another big one. The kind you get from plants isn't the same as the form in red meat. Plant-based iron, non-heme iron, doesn't absorb nearly as well. And when it's paired with things like phytates, which are compounds in grains and legumes that block mineral absorption, the situation gets worse. This is one reason why plant-based women especially are so prone to chronic fatigue. It's not about motivation, they're simply undernourished. Then there's creatine, something people associate with athlete and gym bros, but the reality is creatine fuels the brain as much as it fuels your muscles. It improves memory, cognitive function, and short burst performance. And your body only gets it from animal foods. Vegans consistently show lower levels unless they supplement. Taurine, essential for cardiovascular health, brain development, and electrolyte regulation, not found in plants. Choline, critical for liver detox, memory, and focus. You'll find it in eggs, liver, and meat, not in kale and hummus. Even something as misunderstood as vitamin A becomes a problem. People think beta carotene from carrots is enough. It's not. Your body doesn't efficiently convert it to usable retinol, especially if you're under stress, inflamed, or have thyroid issues. Retinol, the active form, comes from animal sources, especially liver. And don't get me started with omega-3s. Flax and chia give you ALA, which barely converts to DHA and EPA your brain and hormones actually need. Fish and grass-fed animal fats are the gold standard here, not some overmarked seed oil blend. Now, sure, you can try to supplement all of this, but here's the problem. You're taking synthetic versions of nutrients that were designed to be delivered in whole food form with cofactors, enzymes, and fat-soluble carriers your body expects. That's why people can be eating clean, plant-based diets and still end up anemic, depressed, infertile, and constantly inflamed. The bottom line, you don't get points for effort in nutrition. You get results from what your body can absorb and use. And when you pull animal products out of the picture, you're playing defense from day one. If you're living on soy, lentils, oatmeal, and fake meat, you're fighting an uphill battle, not because you lack willpower, but because you're starving your body at the cellular level. And no, eating 6 cups of kale and chasing it with a multivitamin doesn't fix it. This isn't about judgment, it's about physiology. Your body wasn't built in a factory, and it wasn't built to thrive on food that was. Here's what I've seen and what you might be experiencing if you've gone vegan. Hair falling out, chronic fatigue that doesn't let up no matter how much you sleep, hormonal chaos, missed periods, mood swings, low libido, brain fog so thick you can't think straight, weak nails, pale skin, darker under eye circles, bloating after every meal even if it's clean, anxiety, depression, low motivation, but no one can tell you why. And here's the thing, these symptoms aren't rare, they're common, especially after 1 to 2 years of being plant-based. And they don't always show up on your labs, not right away. You'll be told everything looks fine while your body feels like it's falling apart. I've seen it up close, real people, real suffering, all the while doing what they thought was healthy. One girl reached out, eating nothing but smoothies, oats, tofu, and veggies. She lost her period for 8 months. She was told it was just stress or athletic amenorrhea. But her body was screaming for nourishment. She brought back red meat and eggs, and guess what? Her cycle came back, her energy returned, her strength improved. It wasn't stress, it was starvation in disguise. Then there was someone who DM'd me, mid-30s, lean, plant-based, eating super clean. But they were dealing with crippling anxiety, adult acne, bloating, and sleeping 10 hours a night just to function. They added red meat back in for 1 week, just 1 week. And they messaged me saying, I feel like a completely different human. These aren't isolated stories. They're patterns. They're what happens when you feed a human body like it's a lab experiment instead of a living, breathing organism designed for animal nutrition. And I get it. The marketing is strong. The influencers are convincing. The guilt runs deep. But your biology doesn't care about trends. It only knows how to survive and how to thrive when it's fed for what it's built for. This isn't about judgment. It's about waking up. If this sounds like you, it's not in your head. It's in your food. Let's flip the script for a second. Instead of obsessing over what veganism removes, let's talk about what you actually get when you eat like a human. Because this isn't just about avoiding deficiencies. It's about tapping into what your body thrives on. Red meat gives you complete protein, iron, B12, zinc, everything your body needs to repair, grow, and stay strong. It's not just fuel, it's foundation. Liver, that's nature's multivitamin. You're getting preformed vitamin A, copper, B vitamins, CoQ10, all in the form your body recognizes and uses immediately. You can't recreate that in a capsule. Eggs, loaded with choline, B12, healthy fats, and fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, K2, all critical for hormone balance, cognition, and cell repair. Fish and seafood deliver what your brain and thyroid are starving for: iodine, selenium, and the actual omega-3s your body needs, DHA and EPA, not the pretend versions from flax seeds. Raw dairy offers real calcium, bioavailable K2, probiotics, and enzymes your body and gut actually use, not the stuff added back into almond milk with a dropper. Bone broth brings collagen, glycine, and glutamine, nutrients that heal the gut lining, improve skin, and calm the nervous system. None of this is new. It's old, ancient, ancestral. Your ancestors weren't weighing food on a scale or tracking grams in an app. They hunted, they cooked, they ate nose to tail, and they thrived. That same blueprint still lives in your DNA. You just have to stop fighting it. And now let's talk about something no one wants to touch: mental health. Nutrition isn't just about energy and muscle. It's about how you feel, how you think, how you show up. And this is where veganism wrecks people. When you cut out animal foods, you're cutting out the very nutrients your brain needs to function. B12 deficiency is directly linked to depression, irritability, and even cognitive decline. It's not optional, and it's not replaceable in the same form from plant sources. Low-fat diets, which are often what veganism turns into by default, are correlated with increased anxiety and hormone dysregulation. Your brain is 60% fat. It needs cholesterol and saturated fat from animal sources to make hormones and neurotransmitters like serotonin. I've seen it in clients and messages countless of times. People go plant-based to feel cleaner or lighter, and they end up feeling anxious, exhausted, and lost. Because here's the truth: food isn't just fuel, it's grounding, it's ancestral, it's emotional, and meat grounds you. It brings you back into your body. It stabilizes your blood sugar, it supports dopamine, it helps you feel steady, strong, and calm. Plant-based can leave people floating, disconnected from their body, their cravings, and their power. This isn't just about macros or minerals. This is about mental resilience, emotional clarity, feeling human again. If you feel like you've been chasing clean and ended up feeling broken, it's time to come back to what works. Real food, real fuel, the way nature and biology designed it. So let me leave you with this. If your diet needs a cabinet full of supplements just to function, it's not natural. If it leads to hormonal crashes, mental burnout, constant bloating, or physical decline, that's not sustainable. And if the only reason you're doing it is because a Netflix documentary scared you or someone on TikTok told you meat was bad, you've got to question that. We've gotten so far from what's real, what's biological, and what's natural that now people think lab-grown soy patties and fake eggs are somehow healthier than wild-caught salmon or pasture-raised beef. I'm not saying to go scarf down fast food and factory-farmed trash. I'm saying return to nature. Eat like a human again. Grass-fed, wild-caught, regenerative, local, nose to tail, real food. And yes, that includes meat. Not because it's trendy, but because your biology will thank you for it. You don't need to be extreme. You don't need to follow anyone's label, but you do need to be honest with yourself. Your body wasn't designed to thrive off seed oils, fortified cereal, and meatless nuggets. It was built to thrive off nutrient-dense, animal-based nutrition, and deep down, you know that. So if this hits a nerve, good. If it opened your eyes, even better. Here's what I want you to do next. I want you to like this and share this. Send it to a friend who's been struggling on their plant-based journey, wondering why they feel worse the cleaner they eat. And if you're ready to finally take back control of your energy, your hormones, and your health, stick around. This is just the beginning. This isn't about dogma, it's about truth. And at the end of the day, truth always wins.